Does that look used to you?
Yep, looks used, but not like a used lightsaber. More like a used con.
Hey!
We gotta get back to the past, to the 20th century. Digging through the bubble wrap into your memories. Back was the collector, he's protecting what we find. Relentless heavy metal guns keep us safe through time. RetroBlasting.
This is not a toy.
Just the corners of your mind. RetroBlasting. The stuff you love since you were 9. We're blasting into the past to see what thrill still lasts.
As you move your lightsaber, the sound of the Force moves with you. It can be a powerful friend.
As a kid in the 80s, the lightsaber was the ultimate imaginary sidearm. A mix of magic and science fiction high-tech, it preoccupied my grade school thoughts. Because I saw Star Wars in 1982, but hadn't yet seen The Empire Strikes Back, I never had the opportunity to own the first official toy lightsaber Kenner made. An inflatable, fragile contraption with a flashlight in the handle, this toy was neither durable for play combat nor pleasing to look upon. Just look at it when it's deflated.
I can't. It's too big.
My first lightsaber was Kenner's The Force lightsaber. Yes, the yellow one. My brother chose Darth Vader's red lightsaber. Both had Empire Strikes Back labels on them, and both were riddled with dents and damage very quickly. They were some of the few childhood Star Wars toys that didn't survive into adulthood, and I had to track down this duo that had survived intact. The design of the Force lightsaber's hilt is very loosely based on the look of the original hilt given to Luke by Old Ben. It has the vertical grips on the bottom and the center band with the bubble in the clamp, just like the original prop. The prop was created from a very slightly modified vintage Graflex flash handle for a camera. A few choice additions and it became the handle of the futuristic laser sword. Darth Vader's was similarly constructed, so the Force lightsaber handle was close enough for both Luke's and Vader's. Alas, as I've said before, the blade of the Luke Force lightsaber was yellow rather than blue. Both sabers were hollow to allow air to pass through to a whistle in the top, and the air would escape through holes in the handle and create eerie howling noises. Yellow blade notwithstanding, the Kenner Force lightsaber was what we had in the early 80s to simulate the real thing. Yes, flashlights could light up, but there was no blade to swing. Aside from the blade color, my yellow Force lightsaber had other limitations. One, the blade could not retract. The tube was a fixed length. You could unscrew it from the handle, but that was a cumbersome process most 5-year-olds like myself weren't about to burden ourselves with. Two, it didn't light up. Some knockoff sabers did illuminate, but they were just flashlights with tubes on them. They didn't have Star Wars-style hilt details like the Force lightsaber. And the sounds it makes don't sound anything like the actual movie weapon. At the time, most of these wants were just fever dreams. It was the 1980s, and I assumed none of that was possible here on Earth for a lightsaber toy. Regardless, my yellow Force lightsaber, combined with my Kenner laser pistol and Ben Cooper Luke Skywalker costume jumpsuit, became my default uniform to visit the planet Dagobah and save my friends on Cloud City. I guess I'd predicted the Super Nintendo game? Anyway, I ascended into middle school with my love for The Empire Strikes Back unabated. By this time, you could say I'd become obsessed with Luke's original lightsaber prop. I was working from an oversized postcard trying to get the scales and dimensions of his lightsaber correct. I drafted sketches of the lightsaber 3 times with help from my mother's far superior math. Each new blueprint was the result of a new photo I'd found that revealed more of the details. The lightsaber Luke carries through the end of The Empire Strikes Back is very unique, asymmetrical from certain angles, with buttons and knobs and a sloping emitter. It just looks otherworldly. More than any of the other lightsabers in the trilogy, that was the one that piqued my interest. Despite making detailed sketches, I couldn't find suitable parts, but I did wrap a pipe in 2 miles of duct tape just to start somewhere. I know. Weak. A random encounter with a science fiction magazine in the early 1990s gave me the lost tidbit of information I had been hoping for, that identified the hilt as the Graflex flash handle. But I couldn't find a Graflex flash to save my life. There was no internet back then, so I scoured flea markets and old camera shops. No luck. So instead, I raided Home Depot, Radio Shack, and a number of other outlets, and I built this. When the replicas started coming out, officially and from fans, I confess I amassed quite the collection. And I even snagged the real McCoy, a Graflex flash handle, which I've decided I'm never going to convert due to their scarcity these days. As cool as prop replicas are, though, they don't make sounds, they don't have saber blades, they're static. In 1995, Kenner released their first new lightsaber toy since the Force lightsaber. And no, I don't count the Star Wars droid's lightsaber in that lineup. That thing is a butter knife. For the first time with the 1995 release, a toy lightsaber had the sounds and the light-up effect. It even telescoped from the handle. Much to my annoyance, it was the green one, not the blue one. And the way the saber worked is it always had about 8 to 10 inches of blade permanently sticking out of the top, and you were forced to swing it in order for it to extend. Then they released Darth Vader's and then Qui-Gon Jinn's. Hasbro had a real aversion to the blue lightsabers. They finally broke through the blue barrier with Obi-Wan's prequel saber, but all had the same limitations as the green Luke version. By this time, Force FX lightsabers were coming out for adult collectors, with LED lights and digital sound effects atop accurate metal hilts. Really cool as showpieces, accurate metal, but a kid couldn't fight with them unless they wanted to break the lights inside. And once again, the blades were fixed-length attachments. Hasbro adapted the Force FX sabers for children, but the limitations were still the same. Expensive, fixed blade, and don't duel with it lest you break the fragile lighting technology. As a kid, I wanted something I could duel with, that would light up, that would fully retract, and make sounds. Yeah, I wanted all the things. And make no mistake, I wanted the ultimate lightsaber toy, not the ultimate adult replica. Was it possible? Hasbro created the Force Action Lightsaber series, and the blue Graflex lightsaber was in the lineup. An oversized hilt, modeled disappointingly after Anakin's Revenge of the Sith handle, contained a fully retracting blade that was spring-loaded with synchronized lights and sounds. Seemed like a pretty good bet this might be what I'd been waiting for since 1982, the perfect lightsaber toy. Then I saw the handle, a chunky Frankenstein's monster construct with terrible proportions and ugly extra switches. It seemed the Graflex design just couldn't be translated elegantly to a plastic toy. Hasbro took some steps backward with their toy lightsabers after that, returning to the 1990s essentially with their Blade Builders line. But the other day, I ran across a new lightsaber that seemed to be reveling in the legacy of the blue Graflex lightsaber. Luke, Anakin, and Rey all adorn the box art, and inside, the plastic hilt looked excitingly accurate to the blue Graflex handle from Empire Strikes Back. The box espouses that this is the return of the Force action mechanics, so it's a blue blade fully retracting into an accurate handle with synchronized lights and sound effects. Could this be the ultimate lightsaber toy I've waited 37 years for? There's only one way to find out. Well, there you have it, the latest lightsaber toy from Hasbro based on the original Graflex handle. Now, I'm not going to even try to tell you that it's as visually impressive as the Master Replica's FX Saber, which you saw demoed earlier. I'm not going to tell you that it has the nostalgia factor of the yellow-bladed Force lightsaber. this is not looking for the ultimate replica. We're looking for the ultimate toy. And in the case of my long history with Star Wars lightsaber toys, this is what I would have wanted as a kid. This is what I dreamed about having as a kid. Something with a blade that fully retracts and then extends with a spring-loaded feature, not like the Force Power of the Force ones where you have to kind of sling it out like a telescope. This actually is, as far as a toy is concerned, everything I would have wanted. Now, I will say the handle is a bit large. I mean, it's not proportionate to a real Graflex. And it sacrifices a lot of blade length. There isn't a lot of blade length, but I keep reminding myself I would have been 4, 5, 6 years old. And this would have been far more useful for imaginary role-playing. I don't think I would have missed the extra 6 inches to a foot that the Force lightsaber and the FX lightsaber had, because I would have been able to, deploy it and then retract the blade all the way in. I'm able to push the... Now that is a disadvantage to this in that if you don't deploy the blade down properly, you can accidentally reactivate the sounds. And unfortunately, the sounds... Hey, look at that. It won't even go back in. Unfortunately, the sounds... This could get awkward. Maybe I haven't found the ultimate lightsaber toy yet. I was planning on doing a favorable review of this new Hasbro lightsaber as the climax to this Star Wars Follies. And I promise you, this was not planned. This just happened live on camera. Once again, it is a Star Wars folly. I mean, Hasbro has not managed to deliver a decent product. All I was trying to do was push the blade back in like it's intended to be used, and it jammed the blade up completely at the lower section. I cannot get this thing to move forward. I can't get it to move backward. Something has completely jammed this up. And it just proves that these modern Hasbro toys are no good. I was ready to give this toy a positive thumbs up. I mean, I was excited about it, but nope. I mean, right here, live, on RetroBlasting, bam. So we haven't found the ultimate Star Wars toy lightsaber yet. So until that day happens, the ultimate one for me will still be, by default, the yellow Force lightsaber from 1980, 81. So thanks for watching this, and we'll see you on the next video.